Great. Now, Scott, you were going to show me, the ribs here and the sequence going outwards, and then we will, because it's such a heavy structural member, you're also going to indicate where the rear spar attaches to the main spar and the ribs. So we'll position that, in the coming minutes so that people can see. But can you point out to us where the rear spar attaches? The future rib spars are going to attach to this center section.
Absolutely. So we're coming near the end of this phase, which is the rib phase, I'll call it. And our next phase will be the reconditioning of the rear spar. So the rear spar would be vertically at the back of this assembly here, and basically at the top and bottom of the rear spar are the spar booms. Each one is about 15 feet long, and they're basically a T-section extruded from aluminum by Sprung Structures. Your friends at Sprung Structures, thank you very much. And it's going to be a bit of a hassle. These pieces in the actual aircraft were tapered along their length, so we're going to have to come up with some ingenious ways to shave off some of the material, because when these pieces were extruded, they were extruded with a common cross-section from one end to the other. So we have to taper them along their length, which is going to be a bit tricky, but I've got some ideas, and tune in soon to find out how we're going to do that. But yeah, that'll be the next phase. So once we get these booms tapered, then we can start to reattach them to the vertical section, if you will, of the rear spar, and hopefully, we'll in a few months' time we'll be able to strap that onto the back.
Great. So can you point to us here? Just give me a general idea for the rear spar.
So what's the first bar the first rib that's beside you is the inside of the fuselage, basically. Then there would have been the cavity where the nitrogen bottles would have been housed. And then the next two bays would have been inner bomb bays, wing bomb bays. And then beyond, we would have had the undercarriage and nacelle. Now, we don't have those ribs in place today. They're awfully heavy, so we didn't put those in place today. And then the T-section or extruded section it actually fits along the back, and we've got one out today, so we can show you exactly where it's going to go at the, in this case, we'll hold it up along the back of the ribs to show you its relative location.
Sure. Now, the rear spars, if we're on the center line of the center section, and it goes 15 feet this way, and it goes 15 feet that way, so it's actually two sections of rear spar spliced in the middle.
Correct.
Total length is 30 feet from that far end to over there, that end.
Correct. Correct. So we're going to be building it in two halves. Right. Now, we're going to test fit it, but when it's ready to be shipped out west, we'll be shipping it in two separate pieces, and it'll be bolted together when it arrives at the museum.
Right, and that was one of the things that was good about the Halifax during World War II, is it was so modular and so well thought out in terms of forming up sections that you could easily take out a battle damaged section of a Halifax and put in another new one, and then you'd have a complete airplane again.
Exactly. During wartime, you would have also had the doghouse. The two halves of the spar would have been joined, and there'd be a doghouse as well.
Right, so over here.
They would ship those as one unit, but in essence they were built as two, put together, doghouse installed, and then shipped off to Handley Page for final assembly. But for our purposes, we only have so much room here. We're going to have to maintain two pieces, and the doghouse will have to be a separate piece.
Sure.
But again, as you say, very modular. Ship them separately, but they can be bolted together when they arrive.
Okay, Scott, so it's a little bit before Christmas, but I wanted to give you just a little something, a token appreciation for what Knox Tech and Harry and all the team have done for us to keep the Halifax, special effort going. And I've got it right here. And this is a brand new book on the history of the Handley Page Halifax, and it was done by a publisher in England, Jonathan Falconer, and because we are doing such pioneering work on the Halifax, he contacted us. So I sent him hundreds of photographs of our previous recoveries and what we're doing now. And so Jonathan, as a thank you, sent me these books to be used for our donors and our fans. Wow. And we're donating money to you, so you get a book.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much.
But it's a great overall history of the Halifax, and I wanted you to read it and to share it with the guys. And for those of you that support us out there, remember, we are giving special complimentary books to all of our donors and supporters who are sending in funds to keep this Halifax rebuild going. And it's a great book, and the NA337 is in there, LW682 recovery is in there.
Excellent.
And all of these surviving Halifaxes all over the world, it's all in there. So it's a really overall great history, and we just wanted to say thank you. And here's a little reading material when you want to put yourself to sleep at night.
I'll probably finish it today. I can't wait to take a close look at it.
That's great. But it's a good, fun book, and it's a brand new addition to the heritage and the history of the Halifax.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Karl. I really appreciate that. And it'll be a great reference for when visitors come to look at what we're doing. Again, it's a collection of parts. It's hard to get an idea, but this book will help us point out those aspects that we're working on and give context to what we're up to, which is brilliant. That's great.
Yeah, there's some great images in there. So thanks a lot, and let's keep rolling.
Absolutely.
Great.
So, Karl, I just wanted to show you quickly the old spar, the old rear spar, to give you and the folks that are following us an idea of what we're up to, or at least what we will be up to in the next phase. So this is the old rear spar. Now, it had been severed here and here unceremoniously with a sawzall.
Yeah, out of Malta with big buzz saws and blow torches, and they cut her right off.
So in the original aircraft, there was another about 4 or 5 foot section that would have been here, but it's been lost. So we have to rebuild the whole spar, the whole rear spar. So you managed to get us a new extrusions for these T sections here.
T sections here
That's
and
right.
here.
That's right.
And Sprung made us brand new ones from 1943 blueprints.
Exactly. So we now have the new extrusions that we can use and to replicate this. So this is in essence a piece of sheet with the T sections top and bottom.
Right.
So what I'll probably end up doing is dismantling this and using these pieces as a drill template, because we know that these holes are in the right spot for the old ribs. So that's what we'll probably end up doing. But just wanted to show you and show the others exactly what we're trying to do with these T sections that we showed earlier. Recall we temporarily located or held in place the T section at the rear spar. Well, here's what we're trying to replicate, both top and bottom.
Right. And the thing that got me, Scott, was, I kept thinking, how do we make a brand new rear spar, if we've only got just the blueprints? But here, this entire section, it helps as a template for everything that has to go together. So it's a win-win. If you have the blueprints, and then B, you've got the real McCoy, then that's the best you can ask for if you're building up a bomber.
Absolutely, no, for sure. It's imperative. We've got some missing parts here that if you don't have the plans or you don't have a template,
right?
You're going to be just kind of guessing. But no, I think we have enough detail to be able to do it right.
So, Scott, I think this is an apropos time for me to make an announcement here, which will go on the next update. Is I can't divulge details yet, but you know that we've got a Halifax underwater off the coast of Sweden.
Yes, I heard.
Yesterday, I just finalized a deal. Another underwater group within 200 miles of the Sweden Halifax has found a Halifax Mark III. And it is a crash site, but it's underwater. They've agreed to recover that Halifax Mark III, everything that they can find, they want to recover it for us. So hang on, buddy, because I might be able to get you some more goodies.
We could always use more goodies.
Yeah, that's right. So I will, next month, in the start of 2018, I'll be making a big announcement about this Halifax Mark III that has been discovered and dived on already, in addition to the Halifax that is off the coast of Sweden that we're going ahead to recover in March of 2018. So there's lots of things coming down the pipe, so it's a grand adventure, and thanks to all you guys for everything you've done for making this Halifax be a reality.
Oh, it's a pleasure to help out.
Great, thanks a lot.